going on, folks? Jeremy Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to the first MMO News Drop of 2021. Hope everyone's been good. Let's get straight to the news, beginning with Final Fantasy XIV. Time to get your tinfoil hats on, people, because Square Enix has announced that the next Producer's Letter live stream will take place on the 5th of February to discuss what's coming in patch 5.5. But notably, it's the same date as the announcement showcase that could very well reveal a new expansion, which does fall in line with the MMO's expansion timelines in the past. What do you think it will be? Will we see a new expansion, announcement, or something else? Let me know. Now, over in the Elder Scrolls Online, if you didn't know, there's a free ESO Plus membership trial going on right now for new players or returning players, or anyone not on the subscription. To activate, simply navigate to the ESO Plus tab on the Crown Store in-game and click it to begin. And this trial lasts until the 26th of January, so until then you'll get a taste of the delightful crafting bag, 10% increase to XP gains and gold acquisition, and other benefits. Now, sticking with ESO, ZeniMax has of course delayed the major global reveal showcase for its next year-long story and new chapter all about Oblivion to the 26th of January as well. So if you need a reminder, set your calendars and the live stream begins on Bethesda's Twitch channel starting 2 p.m. PST. In Guild Wars 2, ArenaNet has released Chapter 2, Power of Champions, the last episode of the Icebrood saga this past week, and it's got a whole lot of goodies. There's new dragon response missions in the Fields of Ruin, Thunderhead Peaks, Lake Doric, and Snowdon Rift maps, which you can tackle with the help of some new allies in the form of the Deldrimor Dwarves. There's also new rewards to earn, of course, like the new Stretch emote and a new infusion, on top of more masteries to unlock. The new patch also contains some major changes to tradable items, and certain equipment stats are now tradable, like Marauders, which is great news for the player base as a whole. Check out the release page for more details. Moving on, some good news if you follow upcoming MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. This past week, its studio Visionary Realms announced that it has acquired further funding for the game in the region of a 7-figure investment, which in their words provides a runway for the studio to help Pantheon hit its development goals in 2021 and beyond. There is plans to use the funds to continue the game's development, begin preparations to support over 8,000 players already signed up for an alpha release of the game, and strengthens its back-end system supporting the game client, accounts, and front-end web platforms. Another MMORPG in development, Ashes of Creation, has some quick news next, and it's that the next live stream will take place on January 29th with the floor open for your questions, which you can submit at the official forums right now. Ashes has been active over the holiday season with previews for its Alpha 1 and much more, and 2021 will hopefully be the year we see it all come to fruition. In Amazon's New World MMO, this past week, the studio released updates to the crafting and gathering system for the current alpha test in a move to make the system feel like a meaningful part of life in Eternum from the moment new players land on the beach all the way to the endgame. This month's changes tackles everything from the inclusion of more recipes with more ways to use those crafted items, and the release notes on the website goes into so much detail that it's good to know crafting won't just be a sideshow here. Check out the notes, link down below. Moving on, free-to-play Dungeons & Dragons MMO Neverwinter has launched its combat rework update this week, in which sweeping changes were made to the game's combat system in areas like stat ratings, stat percentages, item levels, companions, and much more, which you can watch in action thanks to this video that developer Cryptic Studios has put out on both their website and YouTube channel. It's quite a drastic change if you haven't played in a while, so do take some time to get used to it when you log in. In the MMORPG TERA, Gameforge just got some good news for the new year as well, as the latest content update has hit the game for players in both EU and North America. This features Build 102 that has the new Catalapticon dungeon and the introduction of mythic equipment, the latter of which you can find the necessary materials for in dungeons or through PvP activities. Let's talk about the PC version of Bless Unleashed next, and last week the game held its second closed beta test on Steam, which ran for less than a week, with keys handed out pretty much freely to anyone who signed up for it. If you took part in the second CBT, you'll be granted the Breaker of Games title, a free mount, and a care package containing in-game currency when launch rolls around. If you haven't been keeping up, the second CBT is all about correcting the many issues and annoyances players experienced in the first one last year, like wonky controls and UI among other things, and the feedback this time around is that the game's much better, but there's still more to be done in other areas like class balancing and other tweaks, so check out the Steam store page for details on what the developers are working on next. Interesting news coming out of Standing Stone Games' Lord of the Rings Online MMO Next, and it has to do with a pretty controversial patch that wants to level lock certain legendary item empowerment scrolls and reputation accelerator tomes in-game that, in the words of the player base and more, is a not-so-subtle attempt to force players to spend money in the cash shop alternatives instead. There was a big blowback on the update when it was first announced, but as of this weekend, it seems that the developers are pushing ahead with the update anyway. Much of the outrage comes from the fact that the items here are extremely useful for players catching up their characters to the current endgame, and by forcing it out just makes the legendary item system even worse of a slog than it already is. You can check out the update notes in the link down below. Elsewhere, superhero MMORPG DC Universe Online is celebrating a huge milestone this month. The game is officially 10 years old. For its 10th anniversary, month-long celebrations are already underway until the 30th of January, so simply log in and claim some sweet rewards daily, including one free character advance to CR290, which you can interpret as a huge level boost if you've never played the game before. Additionally, in the anniversary producer's letter, the devs talk about what's next for the game, and they're setting up the next content drop, episode 40, based on Flashpoint, and they're also teasing a huge story ending coming later in the year. AION EU also has an update out this past week, as update 7.8 has hit the European servers. This new content drop comes with the newly improved auto-hunting system, better interface for chatting with friends, better skill effects, and much more. Check out the patch notes down below. Right, time to check in on the mobile MMO scene now, so let's begin with Blade and Soul Revolution, Netmarble's translation of the PC MMO, and they've announced that the global launch will take place very soon this year. Blade and Soul Revolution is a direct import of the PC version running on Unreal Engine 4 that's very faithful, featuring all the cinematic, story, characters, dungeons, quests, and more from the PC version that's tuned for mobile, of course. Fun fact, the game has already been out in parts of Asia since mid last year, and I've gotten my hands on it, and am impressed somewhat at how closely it follows its PC counterpart, unlike many other mobile MMOs that have PC franchises. There's no official launch date at the moment, but it's definitely coming globally in 2021, and in the meantime, you can always check out the Asian region version on your favorite Android emulator. Last but not least, we know what's going on with the PC franchise of Bless, but what about mobile? Well, last week, Joy City announced that they have launched pre-registrations for the global version of Bless Mobile, which is based on a mixture of the PC version of 2018, which sucked, and the console Bless Unleashed. So we're talking action combat on Unreal Engine 4 and a bunch of content in PvE and PvP that Bless players will already be familiar with. Anyway, pre-registrations for Bless Mobile is now open for both Google Play and the App Store. And that's all I've got for now, folks. It's great to be back, and I'll see you all in the next video. Meantime, if there's news for a game you play that's not covered here, hey, feel free to share what's going on down in the comments. Hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel for more content. Once again, I'm Jeremy Adrian, and I thank you for watching.